A custody order can change hands faster than a moving truck. This happened in Buffalo, New York, during a March thaw. Dirty snow, freezing rain, and a certified envelope that didn't go where it was addressed. The family said she was unstable. The paperwork said she was notified. And the only reason that lie collapsed was a forwarding record that shouldn't have existed. My name's Frank Hale. I work while the city sleeps. No rumors, just records, receipts, barcodes, signatures, timestamps. I don't do drama. I do verification. Most people think mail is just mail. Bills, coupons, a birthday card that shows up 3 days late. But certain envelopes aren't mail. They're leverage. When it's certified, the sender isn't trying to communicate. They're trying to prove something. The woman in this story is named Dana Pierce, 34, single mum. Works mornings at a warehouse off Broadway, nights doing deliveries when she can get the gigs. 2 traits I remember from the first time I met her. She spoke like someone who had learned not to beg, and she carried paperwork like it weighed 100 pounds. Before I ever scanned her name, Dana had already been declared a failure by her own family. It happened at her mother's birthday dinner 2 weeks earlier at a chain restaurant near the Galleria. Dana told me the story later, sitting on a plastic bench in a government building, like she was reading it from a transcript. Her sister Kendra showed up first. 40, perfect hair, perfect coat. The kind of person who never looks cold. Their parents laughed too loud at Kendra's jokes. Dana didn't laugh at all. Dana's son, Eli, 7 years old, sat quiet and ate fries like he was trying not to exist. Dana's mother raised a glass and said, "I'm just grateful Kendra turned out so responsible." That's not a toast. That's a comparison. Dana's father leaned back and said, "Still doing those delivery apps?" Dana said, "I'm doing what I can." Kendra smiled and said, "What you can isn't the same as what Eli needs." And then, public, clear, in front of everybody, Kendra said it. "If you can't stabilize, maybe Eli should be with someone who can." Dana didn't explode. She didn't argue. She just stared at the tabletop like she was counting how many seconds until she could leave. That was the humiliation. The message wasn't, "We're worried." The message was, "You're a problem and we're already planning your replacement." Dana didn't confront them. She went home, put Eli to bed, and sat at her kitchen table with a calculator. She wrote down her debts, her shifts, her late fees, her exact rent due date. Not because she loved numbers, because numbers don't laugh at you. Numbers either match or they don't. 2 weeks later, my part started. Tuesday, 5:11 a.m. That hour when streetlights still look honest and the sidewalks feel like they're holding their breath. I'm on the sorting floor under industrial lights, scanning trays, doing what I always do. Forwarded, normal. Parcel, normal. Certified, not normal, but routine. The envelope was stiff, court-looking. Clean window. Addressee, Dana Pierce. Address, 118 Seaton Avenue, apartment 3B. And then my scanner flashed a line that made me stop for half a beat. A forwarding instruction, fresh, recent, tied to Dana's name. Forward to P.O. Box 1187. That's the anomaly. Certified mail is already a controlled process. Add forwarding to a P.O. box, especially a brand new forwarding order, and you've created a perfect interception lane. I didn't know Dana. I didn't know her family. But I knew this. Most people forward when they move. They don't forward when they're still paying rent at the same apartment. I looked at the date on the forwarding order in the system. It was created 4 days earlier. That's not a coincidence. That's a decision. I don't guess, I verify. That's a decision. So I followed procedure, because procedure is the only language paperwork respects. The system said forward, so the piece went into the forwarding stream. Not to Dana's door, not to apartment 3B, to a P.O. box. By the time the city really woke up, the proof trail was already forming, clean and official. Not proof of truth, proof of movement. The call came just after lunch. My root phone buzzed. Screen, unknown number. I answered the way I always answer. Frank? A woman spoke. Tight voice, controlled panic, trying not to crack. Are you the carrier for Seaton Avenue? I cover it, I said. My name is Dana Pierce, she said. Did you deliver certified mail for me today? I stopped walking, because the system said I delivered it, but not to where it was addressed. I had a caseworker at my door, Dana said fast. She said there's an emergency hearing I missed. She said there's a temporary placement order. Temporary placement. That's a phrase that sounds gentle and procedural, until you realize it means your child is being reassigned like a file. Dana kept her voice steady, but I could hear the metal under it. Frank, they said I was served, certified. They said I ignored it. I didn't answer with comfort. Comfort doesn't change records. I answered with the only thing I could offer. Hold on, I said. I'm checking my log. I pulled up the tracking history. Timestamp on the certified event, 9:12 a.m. Status, delivered. Delivery point, P.O. Box unit. Signature captured. Dana whispered, I don't have a P.O. box. That's the third sign. Not emotional, procedural, a mismatch. Dana, I said, I'm not going to guess who did what. But I can tell you what to ask for. She swallowed. Okay. You need the case number, I said. You need the proof of service. You need the tracking number attached to that proof. And you need your mail records, forwarding details included. Dana's breathing got loud. They're saying my sister filed, she said. Kendra. They're saying she's temporary caregiver until the court date. And there it was. The betrayal was no longer theoretical. It was scheduled. Dana said, my parents are here too. They're acting like this is normal, like it's already decided. I kept my voice flat. Dana, don't confront anyone first. Why? She asked. Because confrontation gives them time, I said. Time lets people rewrite. The record can't rewrite if you freeze it. Dana went quiet. I'm going to print the record, I said. You're going to build yours. Dana met me outside the downtown post office later that day. Not inside, outside. Because inside is where people feel small. She showed me the paper the caseworker had left. A notice with a docket number and a hearing time. Family court, 2 days, 8:30 a.m. Dana said, my sister called me irresponsible in front of everyone. Then she did this. I didn't comment on motives. I looked at the mechanics. The caseworker's notice referenced a petition, an alleged failure to respond, and proof of service by certified mail. Dana didn't cry. She did something harder. She got specific. "My sister knows my social," she said. "She helped me fill out forms years ago. She's always been the responsible one." That's the hidden truth in family betrayal. The person who helps is often the person who has the keys. Dana didn't threaten Kendra. She didn't call her mother to scream. She stayed silent. Then she said, "Tell me what I can prove." I said, "Good. That's the only question that matters." Over the next 48 hours, Dana moved like a person building a file for survival. She requested her employment verification letter. She printed her rent ledger. She pulled bank statements showing groceries and school supplies, ordinary purchases that look like nothing, until they become evidence of a life. She got her son's attendance record from the school office. She screenshot her call logs, attendance record. She photographed the caseworker's notice with the timestamp visible on her phone. And she did one thing that matters more than people realize. She asked for the paper trail of the mail. I printed the tracking history event list, clean, dated, with scan times. And I told her to request the forwarding record the right way, through the station, through a supervisor, through the official channel. Because this is the rule. If you can't show it on paper, it doesn't exist in court. Dana said, "My family thinks I'm going to freak out. They want me emotional." I nodded once. "Paperwork likes panic," I said. "Panic creates gaps. Gaps create defaults." Thursday morning, 8:14 a.m. Family court building, grey slush at the curb, security line moving slow. Dana walked in with a folder like a shield. And in the lobby, like the ending of a joke nobody wanted, her parents stood beside Kendra. Kendra looked calm, the kind of calm that comes from thinking you already won. Dana's father said, loud enough for strangers to hear, "You could have avoided this if you just listened." That's humiliation again, public, framed as help. Dana didn't answer. She sat down, opened her folder, and waited. The clerk called the case number. Everyone stood. And the whole situation moved into the only room that matters now, the official one. The judge wasn't interested in feelings. The judge was interested in notice. Kendra's attorney spoke first, smooth, practiced. "Your Honor, the respondent failed to appear after proper service, certified mail, delivered." Dana's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed steady. "Your Honor, I was not served," she said. "The certified mail was forwarded to a P.O. box I do not own." The judge looked down at the file. "Proof of service says delivered," the judge said. Dana nodded once. "Delivered doesn't always mean delivered to me," she said. The judge's eyes lifted. That sentence is how you tell a court you understand procedure. Dana continued, "How you tell a court. I brought the tracking history with timestamps, and I brought documentation of my current address, my employment, and my son's school record." Kendra finally spoke, controlled, righteous. "I'm just trying to keep Eli stable," she said. "Dana can't get it together." Dana didn't react to the insult. She reacted to the mechanism. "Your Honor," Dana said, "I'm requesting the forwarding record tied to the certified tracking number." Silence. Courts get quiet when the argument turns into a request for a record. The judge asked the clerk for the proof of service attachments. The clerk shuffled papers, then slid one page forward, the tracking number and the delivery confirmation. That's when the twist hit the room. Because on the confirmation, under delivery details, it listed, "Delivered to P.O. Box Unit." Kendra's attorney's posture shifted, small but visible. Dana's father blinked like he'd missed a step in the story. Dana didn't smile. She just placed one more page on the table, the printed tracking event list, showing the forwarding event tied to that same number. The judge looked at Kendra. "Ms. Pierce," the judge said, "do you know why the respondent's certified mail was forwarded?" Kendra answered too fast. "I don't handle her mail," she said. The judge didn't react. "Then whose forwarding order is attached to her name?" the judge asked. Dana spoke again, still steady. "Your Honor, I requested USPS change of address confirmation history. The forwarding order was created 4 days after my family publicly threatened to take over my son's care." Kendra's eyes snapped to Dana. Not sadness, not shock, anger, because the record was speaking. The judge leaned forward. "Counsel," the judge said to Kendra's attorney, "if notice was forwarded away from the respondent's residence, this court cannot treat non-appearance as willful." Dana's mother tried to speak. The judge raised a hand without looking at her. "This is not a family debate," the judge said at her. "This is a service and notice issue." Then the judge said the words that changed the air in a room. "Temporary placement is stayed, pending proper notice. The respondent is to receive service at her verified residence. A review is scheduled, and this court is requesting additional documentation regarding the change of address request." Translation? The clock stopped. Dana exhaled once. Not relief yet, just air. Kendra's calm cracked for the first time. Not into tears, into something colder. She whispered to her attorney like she was rewriting the plan in real time. Dana didn't look at her. Dana looked at the judge. Because that's the point of silence. You don't fight the person, you fight the record. Outside the courtroom, Dana's father finally spoke in a softer voice. "We were trying to help," he said. Dana didn't argue. She didn't explain her pain. She didn't perform forgiveness. She said one sentence. "Helping doesn't require a forwarded certified letter." That's the boundary. Not revenge, a line drawn with facts. Over the next week, Dana did the long journey work that never looks cinematic. She set up informed delivery alerts. She put a hold on unauthorized address changes. She verified her address on every agency record, and she kept every receipt like it was oxygen. The next hearing was scheduled with proper service at Dana's real address. And when the court reviewed the full packet, the timeline, the forwarding creation date, the delivery point, the story stopped being "Dana is unstable." It became "Notice was intercepted." Paperwork doesn't just record a story, sometimes it creates one. And sometimes the only way out is to make the paperwork tell the truth. I went back to my route the next morning. Same slush, same streetlights, same cold air. Another tray, another scanner, another barcode that would become somebody's problem. Here's what I know. Betrayal isn't always a scream at a dinner table. Sometimes it's a forwarded, certified letter to dinner table. Sometimes it's a hearing you never knew existed. Sometimes it's your family smiling while a record does the damage. I don't guess, I verify. And in Dana's case, verification bought her time, and time kept a child from being reassigned like a file. So let me ask you one question. If a family member used paperwork to take your child, would you confront them first? Or would you build a record and let the record speak? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more stories where silence wins because proof is louder, subscribe.